My name is Katya Kovalenko. I'm a graphic designer specialized in presentations. I've been creating presentations ever since I started my career in design. My first job was in advertising agency, and at first it was the internal presentations that nobody else wanted to do. Then I started working on proposals for our agency's clients, pitching creative ideas and campaigns. And even though during my career in agencies I did almost everything from infographics and social media to brand identities and websites, I was always the presentation girl. So when the moment came and I decided to start working for myself, I realized that there are a huge amount of companies across the globe who need their presentation designed. And so without any strategy or planning, in 2019, I became a freelance presentation designer. Since then, I designed hundreds of pitch decks, corporate templates, and sales presentations for clients around the world, helping them raise millions of investment, win clients, and sell their products. Another one of my passions is the food and drink industry. Not only as a consumer, which I absolutely am, but also working for this industry makes me really happy. In 2019, right after becoming a freelancer, I met an amazing and very inspiring woman, Chelsea Anthan, who introduced me to the world of sherry wines and also great gastronomy and cocktails. I've been collaborating with her agency ever since then, and together we worked on creative projects for clients like Dos Maderas, Dio Cava, Gran Duque de Alba, and many, many more. And those are the projects I really enjoy as well. And since I launched my first Domestika course in 2020, I also discovered that I love teaching design, especially presentation design, which is something that many people do on a daily basis, and so it makes me really happy to be able to share my experience and help them enjoy making presentations. I always believed in the power of presentations. It's such a strong format. Many companies obsessed about designing a perfect website, and then they bring a mediocre PowerPoint to a very important meeting. So many opportunities are lost because we overlook the importance of a good presentation. That's why here I am again with yet another course about presentations, hoping to inspire you to love them as much as I do. Will AI steal our jobs? What about the ethics around it? Will we be able to distinguish what's real and what's fake? If you ask me, I'm very optimistic about all this. First of all, real artificial intelligence, where a machine can learn and act independently the way humans do, is still a distant dream. Instead, most of the discussion about AI at the moment uses AI as a synonym for machine learning. AI models such as GPT-3 have access to a lot of content across the internet, and it's trained to recognize patterns in that content. It doesn't know what goodbye means, but if you say goodbye to it, it will say goodbye back. Because in the billions of conversations it's read through, the most common response to one participant saying goodbye is the other person saying the same thing. In other words, AI models are super powerful for tasks that can and should be automated. But don't expect them to be creative. For now, only us humans can. As for presentations, let's be honest, most presentations you see out there, especially in the corporate environment, already are lacking creativity and personal touch that can truly engage the audience. Now imagine presentations entirely created by AI. They can be even more boring and monotonous. There seems to be a new AI tool for presentations almost every month. They promise to make our lives easier by providing convenience and automation. But here's the catch. The results often end up looking the same. The templates, layouts, and design elements they produce can become repetitive, and they don't really capture the personal qualities that makes your message unique. Although I'm pretty sure that these tools will evolve and learn over the years, they will never fully substitute a creative human brain. As individuals, we possess a deep understanding of our audience's needs, the message we want to convey, and the emotional connection we aim to establish. These are the qualities that cannot be replaced by algorithms alone. This is why in this course I won't show you how to create your presentation in one click, but I will give you some practical tools and techniques to streamline your workflow, visually enhance your slides, and save valuable time in the process. We all know that creating a great presentation can be time-consuming and challenging, but with the help of AI-powered tools, the process can be faster and more efficient. These tools can automate repetitive tasks, suggest design elements, and help organize information effectively, so that you can focus more on crafting a truly captivating experience for your audience. With the right blend of AI assistance and your own unique criteria, you'll be able to take your presentations to another level. In the next lesson, I'm going to introduce you to one of the most popular AI tools that you've probably heard of, ChatGPT. I love designing presentations for my clients. Most of the time they provide me with content, and so I can focus directly on my favorite part, which is style definition and layout. But when it comes to creating my own presentation, for example, when I need to speak at a conference or give a workshop, I really struggle coming up with content and writing my own script. I'm sure this happens to many of you. Even having a clear idea on the topic of your presentation and being an expert in your field can be very challenging to find the starting point and getting past the blank page. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas and create an outline for your presentation. So to start using ChatGPT, you got to go to chat.openai.com, and after quickly setting up an account, you'll be good to go. The first thing you'll see is this pop-up window of ChatGPT warning you about a couple of important things. First of all, that some information that it gives you might be incorrect or misleading, that conversation might be reviewed by AI trainers. It asks you not to share any sensitive information in your conversations, and a couple of other things. So I advise you to check on it, and then once you're done, you're gonna go straight to the workspace. So on the left, you have all your chats. You can have multiple chats simultaneously. The reason you want to keep them separated is because ChatGPT remembers what you've said in each conversation, and it refines the answers based on that. So you don't want to mix multiple conversations because it's basically going to confuse it. And everything you see in the middle will disappear once you start typing. These are just quick ideas of how you can start conversations, like a very short prompts. We use ChatGPT right now to get ideas and brainstorm ideas for our future presentation. So let's start with a simple prompt. Let's say, suggest an outline for a presentation about smart cities. So it started to generate the outline. You can see that the structure is pretty basic. There is introduction, definition of smart cities, key components, benefits, challenges, a lot of information, some case studies, future trends, conclusion. So from a basic prompt like that, you will get a basic response. So this is pretty generic. It looks like a presentation for someone who doesn't know what smart cities are, and you start with defining what it is. If you really want to do an in-depth, interesting presentation, you will have to start refining your prompts. So for example, you can say, act like a sustainability expert and suggest an outline for a presentation about smart city projects implemented in Barcelona. We can say the presentation is for a sustainability congress, and the duration is 20 minutes. And let's see what it comes up with. Introduction starting with greetings, brief overview, introduction to Barcelona as a leading example of smart and sustainable city. Then there's a lot of different initiatives, but you can see that it's already much more refined, and it talks only about Barcelona and what has been happening in Barcelona in terms of smart cities, successes, future direction and challenges, conclusions, etc. So this is much better now. It's much more defined, much more precise, and ready for a sustainability conference. You can start refining. Like, for example, you say, replace section 6 and section 7 with some case studies of the project. So now it's gonna regenerate the whole response, but it will replace the 6 and 7 section with, hopefully, some case studies. Let's see, for now it's the same. Now section 6 is case study number 1, Super Blocks Initiative, and section 7 is case study number 2, Smart Lighting System. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, another thing you can ask ChatGPT is to ask for documents where you can investigate more on certain topics. So for example, where can I learn about the Super Blocks Initiative? And straight away, it will give you some of the websites where you can find more information about this topic. So the idea of using ChatGPT for your presentations, of course, is not to just copy paste everything and present it as it is. The idea is to brainstorm, see what's out there, refine your prompts and see how it can help you structure the whole thing. And then you take the outline and you go look for more documentation, more information, and use it more like an assistant to create a presentation and not just generate the whole thing in there. And now let's say after you did some back and forth with ChatGPT, refining your outline, and you're finally happy with it. Now what we can do is we can ask ChatGPT to generate your script. Maybe not for the whole thing, but for example, for the introduction section. So let's say, generate a script for section 1 and be casual and educational. Something like this. So it starts with, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session of Barcelona Exciting Superblock Initiative. Oh, okay. It's generating the script of the last thing I asked. Sometimes it gets confused. Now let's refine it a little bit more. Let's try one thing. We can copy the section and let's say so I copy pasted the whole section. Maybe now it's more clear to ChatGPT. Let's see. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm really excited to be here today to talk about one of my favorite topics, smart city projects and their impact on sustainability. Finally, yes. I'm gonna stop. So you can see that it suggests like a paragraph of text, and then it also suggests slide ideas, what you can say or what you can have on the slide while you're talking. So this could be really helpful. And basically you can create your whole script like this. So just ask by parts, then of course review, please edit, because I tried it a couple of times and it always says something like fascinating world of blah, blah, blah. So it puts it everywhere. And of course, if you actually say it, it's gonna be clear that you generated everything in ChatGPT. So I would take it as a base and then make my own edits to it, adapt my style. You can also, if you already have your old script of another presentation, for example, you can copy paste it, you can feed it to ChatGPT and ask it to learn your writing style. And then every new thing that it will generate will more or less have your style, the way you talk. And this could be really, really nice. And also, if you can play around a little bit, you can add to your prompt. For example, let's regenerate this response. Regenerate this script like I'm Greta Thunberg. And it's gonna basically regenerate your script in Greta Thunberg style. Hello everyone, my name is Greta Thunberg and I'm here today to talk about something close to my heart, the urgent need for sustainable smart cities. I don't know if it's close or not, but it definitely knows who she is and how she talks. So it might be interesting to play with different styles if you want. Every time I use ChatGPT for writing, I end up changing the whole thing. And I think that's the idea. Use it when you don't know where to start. Like the example we just saw with the outline of the presentation, it might not be your final outline, but it could be a great framework. So refine the results, make your own edits, and even rewrite the entire text and make it your own. The truth is, nobody wants to sound like a robot, so be mindful when using these tools. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you yet another text-based tool, Notion AI. If you're not familiar, Notion is a desktop and mobile app that helps you organize and manage your tasks, notes, and projects. It's basically a personalized digital workspace that allows you to keep everything in one place. You can use it to write and format text, add images, videos, and links, and even create to-do lists and calendars. It's really useful for project management and even to keep track of your daily tasks. I use it quite a lot as it is, but recently they've incorporated AI and it really takes the tool to another level. Now it can also act as a creative writing assistant and generate text in a variety of very useful ways. Let me show you a couple examples. If you don't have a Notion app yet, you can get it from Notion.so and just get the app for free. But the AI features are paid, so it's $10 a month. Before that, you can try it. There is 20 free responses to try it before you decide whether you need it or not. I already have my app installed and I created a new page called Notion AI Demo to demonstrate you the features. So to activate AI features, hit space bar and it will open this window with purple icons in it. So it already gives me some ideas of what can I do with this AI. So we can brainstorm ideas, we can write a blog post, an outline, social media post, press release, etc. So actually the very first one, brainstorm ideas, we can use it to kind of replicate the same process that we did with ChatGPT, generating ideas for a future presentation. So let's start with this one. We say brainstorm ideas on a presentation about smart cities. And let's see what it comes up with. So we didn't define how many responses we want, so it just generated a bunch. And these all are possible topics of our presentation. So here, once generated, it will ask you, what do you want to do with this information? If you click done, it will just stay like this, written. You can continue writing, which will generate more responses. You can make them longer, or try again, which will regenerate the whole thing, or just close this bar. So here we have our possible ideas. Let's see what it proposes. There is a brief history of smart cities and how they have evolved over the years. Remember that the prompt that we did was very basic. So comparing it back to ChatGPT, you can see that it's more detailed and a bit more interesting, I find it. The benefits of smart cities, examples of successful smart city projects from around the world, including Singapore's smart transportation system, Barcelona's smart lighting, and Amsterdam's smart waste management. The role of emerging technologies, case studies, which is interesting, the challenges and drawbacks, the role of citizens, the future of smart cities, the policy, so a bunch of very interesting ideas. Now, if we press the space button again and activate AI, let's try continue writing and see what else it can suggest. It just gives us one more, the potential for smart cities to improve emergency response and disaster management. You can, of course, continue like that, or maybe select one of the topics. I think this one is interesting because it already includes Barcelona. We didn't ask for it, but it just suggested. So let's select it and then go Ask AI. And we can whether improve writing, which for now doesn't make a lot of sense, so as fix writing and grammar. Make it shorter, make it longer, change tone. We can also summarize, translate, and explain this. Explain this is interesting in this case because it will give us a little bit more context of what this topic is about. So let's try. What does it say? This text provides example of successful smart city projects from different parts of the world. Singapore has a smart transport. Okay, so it basically just explained, but it's basically the same. Okay, so we're gonna say discard. And now another thing we can do is to select it again and ask AI to create an outline for a presentation based on the above topic. Okay, that looks great from here. Now that it's done, you can either replace selection or insert below. So I'm going to say insert below. And what I like about it is that it already applied a nice Notion format. So it's easier to digest and work with this information. And this is another benefit actually comparing to ChatGPT, because in ChatGPT, every time the response is generating, if you want to work with this text, you will have to copy paste it somewhere to your blog notes or to Notion app. And you can't really work directly with the text. So let's see what we got here. Introduction, examples of smart city projects, benefits, technologies, case studies, challenges. Quite similar to what we had with ChatGPT, but I think it's a bit more detailed and yeah, looks like it knows a bit more. Another thing we can try is to select these bullet points within the conclusion section, and we ask AI to write a script based on the selection. Nice, let's see if it makes sense. The first point is overview of successful smart city projects, and it says, smart cities are becoming increasingly popular around the world, and for good reason. They offer numerous benefits such as increased sustainability, efficiency, and quality of life for residents. Then we have the importance of emerging technologies, which is this next sentence. So this is pretty good. It just took all of the bullet points and created one script based on that. This is exactly what we asked for. Now we can make it longer. Let's wait for it to finish. Okay, and maybe we can ask it to make it more casual. It starts with, hey there, have you heard about smart cities? They're becoming a big deal. Again, this shouldn't be your exact script, but it can make you move from like this blank stage where you don't know what to start with, you don't know how to start editing. For me, it's always have been difficult to figure out how to start writing, start editing, and this is really nice because it gives you a really good base. So let's say replace selection, and here you have all this script. And ask AI to give me ideas of visuals for each slide. So slide 1, a photo of Singapore's smart transportation system with an overlay of statistics showing how it has reduced traffic and improved public transportation. This is really good. Slide 2, an image of a city skyline with icons representing the various benefits of smart cities. Slide 3, a collage of images showcasing different aspects of smart city technology, such as sensors, data visualization, and communication networks. This, I think it's really valuable, especially for those of you who are not designers or maybe not as visual with the information. So it can give you really nice ideas of what to actually use on your slide, because we don't want to put a lot of text on our slides and we don't want to go there just with bullet points. So these ideas, you can save them and then maybe go look for similar images or generate your own ones in AI image generators. Now let's try another thing. I'm gonna discard this and I'm gonna actually delete everything from the page. And I'm gonna go back to ChatGPT and I'm gonna take the outline that we created, the last one. I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna paste it to Notion AI. And now we can expand each of the section. So for example, I'm going to select introduction and ask AI to create 5 slides with a script based on the selection. So it says slide 1, title slide with image of Barcelona skyline, and the narrator. Okay, let's wait. A narrator says, "Good morning, afternoon, everyone. My name is Nanana, and I'm a sustainability expert. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about the importance of smart city projects, with the focus on the city of Barcelona." Slide 2, as the world becomes increasingly urbanized, so it follows the script, follows the idea pretty well. And I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, back to what we generated before. I'm gonna grab one of the pieces of a script. For example, this one, slide Barcelona leading example. And I'm gonna copy this text, which is pretty short. And I'm gonna paste it here to Notion AI, select it, and say, make longer. Let's insert below to compare and see what it's saying. So the original was, Barcelona serves as a leading example of what can be achieved when a city embraces sustainability. This vibrant city has demonstrated its commitment to the environment and its people through innovative smart city projects. It's a reminder that change is possible, even in the face of daunting challenges. And our new text is, Barcelona is a great example of a city that has taken significant strides towards sustainability. The city has been able to successfully implement smart city projects that have helped promote environmental conservation and improved the livelihood of its residents. It added some details to it, also expanding the existing phrases. And if you feel like there is a piece that is falling short and you really don't know what to put there, you can try this feature. The result is pretty good. Although you might find it a little bit too formal for a script. So if you actually are planning to present and say this on stage, for example, you might feel like it looks more like a blog post or more like an essay than an actual speech. So what Notion AI lets us do is also to change the style of the writing. So we select the piece that we want to change, go to Ask AI, change tone, and we can try maybe make it more casual. So basically, it replaces Barcelona is a great example of a city that has taken significant strides towards sustainability with Barcelona is killing it when it comes to sustainability. So it basically says the same, but using much more casual words and simpler sentence structures. So this now looks a little bit more like an actual human speaking. You can make it more professional, you can make it more casual, friendly, etc. I'm going to replace and I'm going to keep this one. And again, you can continue having conversation with Notion AI, asking questions, asking for examples, or if, for example, you're happy with this piece of script, you can ask it to create 3 slides based on the selection. Now this is pretty good. It created the content for 3 slides with kind of bullet points that can be used along with an icon and very short points of what you're basically covering in your script. You can make more or less slides, maybe define what you want to see in each slide. Basically, the process is very similar to ChatGPT, except that you have like pre-made features, like make longer, continue writing, and things like this, which is more or less like a replacement of what you would do with a text prompt in ChatGPT. In the next lesson, I'll show you another great AI tool that works with large documents and helps you extract insights from them very quickly. This next tool really blew my mind when I found it. Surely AI helps you simplify complex long documents with natural language processing. You can not only summarize and extract information from a document, but you can actually ask it questions about it and interact with it. Charlie AI is perfect for the research stage of your process. Let's say you already created an outline for your presentation with ChatGPT, for example, and now you want to start investigating some of the points. Depending on the topic you're researching on, it could be challenging to find reliable information on the internet. Even ChatGPT has a disclaimer saying that you should always check the information it provides. So often it would be safer to go to a website you trust and get an official report or a white paper on that topic. However, many of them are super long and very complex, and it would normally take you hours to digest. But with this tool, you have AI to help you. To start using Charlie AI, simply go to charlie.ai, create your profile, and after sign up, it will take you straight to the workspace. Here, both on the left and in the center, as you enter, it has all your recent documents. Your profile is here on the bottom, as well as some settings. You can switch to day mode if you prefer. And on the very top, you have the upload button. So if you click on it, you can select a local file from your computer, or you can paste a link to the website. So as you remember in the previous steps of the process, I asked ChatGPT to recommend me some white papers or documents on the topic of superblocks in Barcelona. So after doing some research, I found one that looked interesting and quite updated. It's this one right here. It's 74 pages of a document. So you can either download it to your computer and then upload manually, or just copy the link and paste it to Charlie. Let's go get file. And it will start processing. This process might take some time, because it's going to analyze already everything in this document. And the first thing that it gives you is a quick summary of what this document is about. It says this document is about assessment of the environmental and health effects of implementing superblocks in 3 neighborhoods in Barcelona: Poblenou, Sant Antoni, and Horta. Okay, this is really good. Then we can start now. And we can start interacting with the document, asking questions. The program suggests icebreakers for you if you don't know how to start. So these are like pre-made prompts to start conversation. You can ask what are the main findings of the studies of the intervention in the superblocks and things like that. Or you can use this window right here that has some pre-made buttons and also some settings. So if you want, before you start, you can go to Customize and you can define the length of your answer. If you want it to be short, medium, or long. You can define the knowledge source in which focused will be that the source of information should use to generate responses. Focus keeps Charlie strictly within the document, so it uses all the knowledge on the information that is within the document. And expanded would also add information from outside, so from the internet. There is also response mode, which is a new feature, efficient or advanced, and language, which will auto-detect the language that is used in the document. Let's keep it like this for now and click Save. And now we can start asking questions. So let's first ask, when was this document published? Okay, it says that there is no publication date. That's okay. You can keep asking questions or use one of these buttons. So for example, this was a quite long document. So if you want to just get a sense of what it is about without having to read through the whole thing, you can go simplify the source. And what it did, it went to the Chapter 8 conclusion and recommendation, which is a summary already. And it took a piece of information that basically summarizes the document, I guess. Here, it's quite similar to ChatGPT and OceanAI, that you can stop generating the response whenever you want. If you feel like it's not actually responding what you meant, or you just feel like it doesn't go where you want it to go. Let's ask a couple more questions. So for example, why do we need superblocks? It says superblocks are designed with the aim of enhancing the quality of life in urban areas. They focus on reorganizing the city to improve. So the idea is that you can have the same kind of conversation with Charlie AI as you would with ChatGPT, asking it all kinds of questions. The only difference is that Charlie AI will base its answers on the information in the document you uploaded only. Now the highlight button here will generate a series of bullet points, again summarizing the document. And for me, what's amazing about it is that these bullet points are not just extracted from the text, but they're written as if it was a person. So you feel like you're actually talking to a person who knows this document really well. And the same goes with the sentiment of the source. So it will analyze its written style, whether it's a critique of the topic or it's more neutral or positive, and it actually explains you why. And the next buttons, like enrich, critique, these are more useful if the document you provided is your own. It provides some tips on how to enhance it, for example. It again analyzes the writing style, its language, the grammar also, the organization of the document, the depth of content, and so on. And critique will do the same, but bringing up the negative parts of the document. Now, next few buttons, this one will extract keywords from the document, this one would generate hashtags, and this one will extract places and names mentioned in the source. In the next lesson, we will check out a great free grammar checker, Quillbot. Although you can ask ChatGPT to check grammar for you as well, there are some great AI-powered tools that can do that even better, like Quillbot. Technically, Quillbot is a paraphraser tool, and they recently launched an AI-powered writing tool called Co-Writer. Both paraphraser and co-writer are great features, but in this course I want to focus purely on the grammar checker integrated in Quillbot. I think it does an amazing job, and it's also free and there is no need to register. The website Quillbot.com takes you straight to the tool, ready to use. Here on the left you have all the different tools. There's paraphraser, grammar checker, plagiarism checker, and so on. So we're gonna go straight to grammar checker, and you can copy-paste your text right here in the middle. So what it does, it highlights the errors in red. So when you hover, you can see what exactly is the error and what is the solution. So if you click on it, it will replace the word, or you can ignore it as well. Another way of seeing it is to show an assistant. So it will basically do the same, but with a list on the right. Now, if you don't want to do this manually for each word, you can just go down here and click Fix Errors, which will fix all of them at once, right? And then you can either select a part of it, select the whole thing, which will copy it to the clipboard, or download it as a doc. Also, after you corrected the grammar, you can start using the paraphraser tool right away by clicking this button. It automatically switches to the paraphraser tool and splits the window in two, with your original text here on the left, and on the right side you can see the paraphrased text suggested by Quillbot. It highlights in orange the changed words, structural changes in yellow, and longer unchanged words in blue. What's interesting here is that you can select the mode. You can select between standard, fluency, formal, simple, creative. As you can see, some of them are available only for premium users. Also, this slider here, you can select whether you want fewer changes or more changes. And again, the last piece is only for premium users. This was a selection of my favorite tools for content creation. Now that we have our outline and our script is written, we can start thinking about how to represent this visually on our slides. In the next lesson, I'm going to talk about how to decide what those visuals should be. First of all, as tempting as it might be to start preparing your presentation directly in your presentation software, like many people do, I strongly advise you to work on your speech first. Define the purpose of your presentation. Define the value you want to deliver to your audience. Craft your narrative first, making sure your speech is captivating and it tells a story. Then and only then you should start thinking about your slides. Ideally, they should support and illustrate your message, not the other way around. There is nothing more boring than a slide that says exactly what you're saying on stage, in a meeting room, or online. What I would do is to have my speech on one side and another empty document on the other side. And I would start thinking, how can I illustrate and support each of my messages with a visual? Don't get obsessed with the quantity of slides, and don't create one slide for each sentence you're saying. It's a lot of work, plus it can be very distracting for your audience and for you to click through them so often. Make sure the visual part of your presentation actually adds value to it. Once you define what goes on each slide, you can start now preparing your visuals. In the next lesson, I will introduce some of the greatest AI-powered tools for image generation. The first image generation tool that I want to show you is Adobe Firefly. One of the reasons Adobe Firefly stands out from other similar tools is that they used licensed images from their own stock to train their models, instead of feeding it with illustrations and other artists' works online. There is a lot of polemic right now about the rights attribution and compensating artists for providing their work for the algorithms. They decided to prioritize the ethical side of the platform, which I really admire. The end result you're getting maybe is not the most refined one, comparing to Midjourney, for example, but it's fully licensed if that is important to you. If you go to firefly.adobe.com, you'll see the landing page with the overview of all the different tools. Some of them are launched already, and some are still in exploration. The idea is that all these tools are here to test by the public and explore in this free beta space. They will be implemented within Adobe products like Photoshop, Illustrator, or Premiere. They already started implementing some of them, like generative fill in Photoshop, which is mind-blowing, and I guess they'll continue doing it with others as well. So the tool I want to show you is the text-to-image. So before it takes you to the workspace, Adobe Firefly will take you through some legal stuff. Here you can read about where the data comes from and some current limitations of the model, if you want to read the whole thing, or you can skip it or just go through it. And after you click done, you will arrive to the workspace. It starts with almost, I think, endless gallery of other people's generations. And in each of these images, you can see the prompt that was used to create them. So it's a good way of getting some inspiration before you start, especially if you don't have a lot of experience creating prompts yet. And then here on the bottom of the page, a bit easy to miss, is the chat window, where we can write our own prompt and start generating. Let's try to create a cover image for our presentation about smart cities. So I'm going to start with a prompt, futuristic city with a lot of greenery, happy people riding bikes, and overall sense of happiness. Let's click generate and see what it comes up with. Here is the result. It always gives you 4 options to choose from. And what I really like about Adobe Firefly comparing to other image generators like Midjourney that works with prompts only is that they added tools and settings here. And this is super helpful, especially if you're just starting using these tools and don't know how to create strong prompts yet. It can be a really good place to start. So instead of describing exactly what you need, you can use these pre-made functionalities. For example, the very first thing we need to do is to switch our aspect ratio, which is square by default. We need to switch it to 16:9, which will be perfect for our presentation cover. Okay, so this very first result is a bit rough. First of all, it assigned automatically the category art to it. So let's try to refine this a little. First, I'm going to switch from art to photo. That's a lot better. And now we can play with all the different styles here. So there is a bit of wild morphing going on with people on bikes. You can see that it's not really people, not really bikes. Let's try click refresh and see if it comes up with better result. Okay, that looks a bit closer to people on bikes, but still quite weird. Anyway, let's try to play around with the techniques and styles and colors a little bit, see if it's better. Wow, I really like this curved building. Okay, so styles, we can select all to show all of them. There's quite a lot to choose from. So for this one, I think one that could work is probably science fiction. And note that as you're selecting different styles, it will add like little tags here in the prompt window. So this way you can control them as well. You can deselect or clear your styles. And then if you click generate, it will only assign the ones that are selected. Of course, you can select several styles. So for example, science fiction fantasy. Let's add warm color. Lighting could be golden hour, which I love. And composition, we want wide angle. Okay, so now we have a bunch of different tags. Let's click generate. All right, it's not getting better. The tool is still in development, so we shouldn't be waiting for like amazing results from the very beginning, and probably some things just don't work yet. So let's try what it does without the people on bikes. We just say futuristic city with a lot of greenery and overall sense of happiness. And let's also get rid of fantasy and try again. Okay, that's much better. I'm seeing really nice results here. Still a bit wild in some of the shapes and some textures, but I think this is something that might work. Although I'm not quite sure this looks like a smart city from a near future, it looks more like some crazy fantasy. So I want to change the prompt a little bit and replace futuristic city with smart city. Let's say from 2040. And we'll keep the rest with a lot of greenery and overall sense of happiness. And let's see if the result is a bit closer to the reality. All right. Well, this looks a little bit more realistic, although these buildings right here are very weird. Another good thing about Firefly is that if you applied a change, if you change the prompt or maybe applied settings that didn't quite work, you can always go back just using your browser. If you click back, it takes you back to your previous result and you can start over. Also, when you hover on each image, you have a set of buttons. So with these right here, you can report or rate the results, so you can help to train the algorithm. You can also save a picture as a favorite. You can download it. Here's another few options: copy to clipboard or use as a reference. And here on the left, if you click Show Similar, it will basically replace another 3 images and create something very similar to this one. Yeah, more or less. I think for our cover, this picture here might work. So again, this process can take you a lot more than just what this lesson is. So I would advise to go ahead and try all the different styles and movements, different content types, and just keep refining it until you're happy with the result. It's like with all the rest of the AI tools, the process sometimes can take you hours. So for this demo, I'm gonna pick this picture. I will download it as it is. It will apply some credentials to the corner. So this is something that by default will be there because of the licensing. And I'm going to show you another really cool feature, which is generative fill. This is already implemented within Photoshop. So if you have Photoshop, you can play with it and try all the different options. But here in Firefly, we can select a piece of the picture. So for example, if I want to add a moon to the sky, I can select this and I'm going to add moon, generate. I can select from 4 different options or generate more if you want. I think I like this picture right here. It integrates a bit more into the background. And then you can cancel or keep. On some pictures, you would also be able to remove the background, but in this example, the background is quite complicated, so I'm not sure it's going to do a good job. Here you can also click remove and remove some objects. It will take into account what's on the picture to generate a feeling. A bit awkward, but still works. Let's try to remove this here. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep. And then on brush settings, we can make the brush smaller like this. And let's try to remove this stick. There you go. And every time you insert or remove something, it will give you a few options to choose from. So this is quite nice. Let's keep this. And we're gonna download the picture again. Hopefully you just created a nice cover image for your presentation. Or switching the format to square or vertical, you can also create images to illustrate any other slide as well. Adobe Firefly is free for now, so it's a very good playground when you can try all the different prompts, combining it with different settings, and hopefully learn more about how to create prompts without worrying about your trial. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to create even more stunning images with Midjourney. Next tool I want to introduce you is Midjourney, my favorite one. The way it works is a bit more complex and requires some practice, but the results are completely stunning. And they keep getting better and better with each new version that is launched almost every month. When I first discovered Midjourney, I couldn't stop generating images and playing with prompts for days. They have different subscription plans. I've been using the basic plan for $10 a month. And for what I do, which is less than 200 generations a month, it's more than enough. But then they have other plans with unlimited normal or relaxed generations and also some fast ones. And if you commit to yearly billing, you will pay less per month. So the way Midjourney works is a bit different from other AI tools that I've reviewed in this course. The tool itself is not on their website, but it works through Discord channel. Discord is basically a group chat for communities. Many companies have them and they have their team in the chat, but also people from outside. You can download it from discord.com and set up a profile. Once you've done it, you'll need to join Midjourney server to use it. if you go to discord.gg/Midjourney, you will find the link in the materials to this lesson too. Once you confirm the invite, you will join the Midjourney Discord server, which is here on the left. So if you go to Midjourney, now you will be inside, and this might look a little overwhelming at first because there are so many different things going on at once, but I'm sure you will get used to it. And next thing you're gonna do is you go to any of the newbies channel, could be this one, and this is where all the generations are happening. So we're gonna start with a very simple prompt, the same one that we used in Firefly. So we start with /imagine, hit space to activate the prompt window, and then I'm just gonna paste the same prompt. The only thing I'm gonna add is the aspect ratio, because usually the default value is more or less square, and we need a widescreen. So I'm gonna add --AR aspect ratio space 16:9, and I'm gonna hit enter. The generations here take a lot of time. So usually what I do is just go to my other tabs or my other tasks, and once I hear the little sound of the browser, I come back and check the results. Sometimes it can take a minute or two, depending on the hour of the day. And there we go. Let's see our result. Wow, this is really amazing. If you compare it to what we did in Adobe Firefly, this is like a completely different level. The amount of details, the overall style, it really looks like an artist created this. Just like Adobe Firefly, Midjourney will always give you 4 options for each prompt. And here on the bottom of each result, you can see 9 other buttons. So U stands for upscale. With these 4 buttons, you can upscale each of these pictures. So for example, if I like this one right here, this would be U2. And then B stands for version, which means that, again, if I like this picture right here, this is the 4th picture. If I click V4, it will create another generation with 4 pictures based on this one. So I'm going to do this as well. And this button right here will regenerate the whole thing from the beginning. Let's find our upscaled photo. It's right here. To open it in the maximum quality, click Open in Browser and then download it from here. Another things that you can do with an upscaled image is new to this version 5.2, which is the current latest version. The latest thing that incorporated is the zoom out features. So with these buttons, what you can do is add zoom to your image, and you can do it infinitely. So let me demonstrate. If we say zoom out 1.5 times, this will make this frame smaller and it will refill the area. And this is our zoom out result. So it basically took the picture as a frame and it generated the entire area around it. And then if we go slightly back, we will find our generations of the picture 4. I love it. I love how it improves with each new version. It's like it just keeps getting better and better and better. So I already like the result a lot, but I feel like for the cover of our presentation, the composition might use some kind of object or subject on the side to balance the text a little bit. So I'm gonna repeat this prompt. Imagine. And I'm gonna add a happy young woman riding a bike in a futuristic city. Incorporate lots of greenery and overall sense of happiness. Let's also say hyper-realistic photo. And our aspect ratio. So this is just a quick explanation of how the tool works. But the beauty of Midjourney, its extreme sensibility to prompts. The more precise you are with the prompts, the better the result will be. And prompt creation is an art itself. We are so used to web search, where we only use like very short keywords. So for me, it's really difficult to switch back to this natural language and very descriptive way of writing. This is the result created with putting a subject in the composition. This is pretty good. I think to make it slightly better, we can use the zoom features. So let's select, I like the first one. So let's say upscale 1. And now let's say zoom out twice. You can also create variations, both strong and subtle. Strong will change more aspects of the original picture, and subtle will create more similar versions to the original one. There is also custom zoom, where you can define the value of the zoom out. There we go, this is really nice. Now the only thing that isn't working for me is that the subject is in the center. And we're probably gonna put our text somewhere on the side, so we need more space on the left for the cover. So let's try to change the prompt a little bit. If you activate the remix mode, which is /remix, this will enable you to change the prompt every time you regenerate. So let's say V4, and there's this new pop-up window where you can add something or take something out of the original prompt. So I'm gonna add, let's try, the subject is on the right side of the image. There we go. This is the only one that actually has the subject on the right. Of course, we can always flip them horizontally, but yeah, let's work with this one. I like this one. So let's say upscale 3, and we're gonna add a little zoom to it. I think we're almost there. Zoom out. And there we go. I actually love it. I think I will select this one right here. The girl looks exactly the same. The only thing that it changes is the generative feel around the main frame. So I'm going to choose this one because it's darker, and so the text will have more contrast. Or maybe this one. Yeah, this one looks nice too. The only thing I want to try is to change the prompt a little bit and add stylize to it. So this supposedly will make it more detailed. There are 3 different options. You can say stylize 100, 500, or 1000, where 1000 would be the most detailed one. It does have more details. Also added some people here in the background. I think the legs look a bit weird here, a bit too long. And there are some differences between the versions. I think this one is my favorite, and I'm pretty happy about it. Let's upscale, and now we are nearly there. Beautiful. Open in browser and save it. In the next lesson, we're going to learn how to improve the quality and resolution of the images that you've just generated, or any other low-resolution images you might have. You will often need to use images on your slides, but the truth is you won't always have a high-quality picture at your disposal. Even some AI-created visuals are not big enough to be used as a full-width background. There are quite a few online tools for image enhancing and upscaling that could help you solve this problem. After testing some of them, I found that IMGLarger is giving us the best quality compared to others. Let's see an example. To start, let's go to IMGLarger.com. They have a free plan that includes 10 credits per month, and then a couple more plans with more credits and more capabilities. So the interface is pretty straightforward. We click Upload Images, and we're gonna use the image we created previously in Midjourney. You can see that the resolution is not the best, and there are some details like on the girl's face. So let's try to fix this. Bear in mind that the maximum size of the file should be no more than 5 megabytes and the resolution no more than 1200 pixels, the longest side. And here we can select whether we want to upscale it 2 times, 4 times, or in paid plans, you can do it by 8 times. So let's click 4 times and we click start. The processing time is not the quickest. So meanwhile, let me show you some other tools. Here they have AI IMGLarger, which is what we are using right now. Then an image upscaler that upscales images and adds details. There are some specific ones for cartoon images. Then there is image enhancer, which also adds details and cleans the image up a little. An image sharpener, AI face retouch. This is quite helpful if you've ever created a team slide for a presentation. You know that there is always a person with a very low resolution headshot. So this tool could be quite helpful to fix that. And there's also background remover, another tool to get rid of noise, cartoonizer, an image colorizer, which will add color to a black and white picture, and an object remover. Okay, looks like it's ready. Let's see. So this will open up a preview where you can slide and see the before and after. Wow, look at that. This is amazing. There's a lot of details that is added to her hair, the face. Even the motion blur on the image looks less blurry and just feels like it has better quality. Let's download it now. And we can now definitely use it as a background for our presentation. Let's now try and do a little demo with face retouch. I'm gonna upload a very low quality headshot. So this is the original picture, quite pixelated and small in general. So open, start. This one is gonna be faster because it's only 9 kilobytes. And there we go. Let's now compare it to the original. This one is the original. Yeah, you can spot the difference from far away. This much more smooth, and it actually regenerated some of the features on her face. And in general, it looks much better. Another feature that I want to show you is the background remover. So if you have a product shot and you want to integrate it better into your slide, you can use this. I'm going to select this product picture that has a blurred background. And there we go. That was pretty fast, and it did a pretty nice job. This was an easy image to work with. So let's see if it can handle something more detailed. For example, this one with more objects around the product. Okay, so it decided to grab the plate of nuts as well. And it also left out this little detail, which is the glass behind the bottle. But overall, it did a good job, I think. And if you have Photoshop and can remove some details, that will be much faster than doing it by hand. And last but not least, let me show you the object remover. It lives on its own website. It's objectremover.com, and it's absolutely free. So let's upload the image. I'm gonna try with this one. Takes you straight to the remover. Here you can adjust your brush size and intensity. And let's try to remove this object. Once you selected it with your brush, click Erase. Wow, that's really amazing. It took into account what's around the object, so it's more or less like the generative fill in Photoshop. This is really nice. Let's try to get rid of the spoon as well. Actually, I'm gonna make this smaller. Very good. I want to do another test. What about removing the bottle, which is the biggest object, so I think it's gonna be trickier for the tool, but I want to challenge it. Wow, just keeps amazing me. I could go ahead and remove the glasses and just keep the background, but I'm not going to. So download. Remember that it's free and it's way quicker than the rest of the tools that we just saw. In the next lesson, I'll show you a new way to create beautiful mockups in just a few clicks. One of the most time-consuming tasks in my experience when designing sales presentations, for example, specifically for digital products, is the mockup creation. I used to create them manually in Photoshop back in the day. I would have lots of different PSD templates of browsers and devices that would get outdated in a year because the new iPhone is out, and now everyone wants their products to be displayed in the new iPhone. So when I found that next tool, which by the way is totally free, at least for now, I was so happy. Shot.so allows you to create stunning, high-resolution, very highly customizable mockups in just a few clicks. So we go to Shots.so, and as you can see, it takes you straight to the workspace. No signing up, no subscribing, nothing. I can't highlight enough how much I appreciate such simple and straightforward tools. Now let's go ahead and select a screenshot or a design that we want to use. For that, click inside this rectangle. And I'm going to select this picture right here. Remember we were analyzing a report about superblocks in Charlie AI? I made a screenshot of its cover and I want to create a mockup with it to reference the source as I talk about it during my presentation. So right away, almost instantly, we get a great looking mockup. Here on the right side, you can see a few pre-made compositions with different angles and perspectives. So you can choose the one you like the most from here, or you can manually adjust your mockup until it looks exactly like you want it to look. To do that, you have all these different tools on the left side. This is where magic happens. So the first thing here on top is the mockup and frame switcher. Right now, mockup is selected, and it means that we are adjusting the mockup itself. If we now switch to frame tools, the tools beneath it will change and it will be editing the background. We'll go back to frame toolbar later, so now let's switch back to mockup. And the very first thing we can select is the type of mockup. Here we have the screenshot, which is the simplest one. It's basically the same image that you uploaded, but with rounded corners, nice shadow, and a background. To be honest, most of the presentation softwares allow you to do the same in just a few clicks. But if you're using some other tools to create your presentation, then it could be helpful even for a simple picture like that. Then you have a browser, a generic phone, desktop, some other devices, and you can also switch between categories using these buttons here on the top. Let's select the browser, for example, and you can see that it crops the image right away to adjust a new format. And also the pre-made composition will switch depending on the type of the browser. So this one could work, but for my image, which is vertical, I would prefer to work with a simple screenshot or even put it inside a tablet like this. Once we've selected the type of the mockup, we can start adjusting it using all these tools right here. So for instance, you can switch between space gray or silver, or you can adjust the shadow, moving this slider up and down manually, or using one of these pre-made settings like none, high, or low. You can also adjust the position and scale. This would make this smaller and bigger within the frame. To reposition, you can also use these rectangles here, or again, manually using one of these sliders, or both. Now, these are all the settings available to this mockup. Now, if we go to frame, we can adjust the background of the mockup. For instance, we can select the format. Let's say we need 16:9 to fill the whole slide. Then we can adjust the amount of background noise with this slider. I don't know if you can visualize it properly, but there's a lot of noise right now. Let's keep it to the minimum, just for a little texture. We can also make it transparent, put the exact HEX code or a color, or even upload an image. And here's the new feature that has just been added recently, and it's AI powered. So it automatically selects the color from your design, from the image you're uploaded, and makes background suggestions. Not only these 5 colors, but also a selection of very interesting gradients. This one is like a blurred image. You can also expand and get more. This one, for example, looks pretty great. And if you keep scrolling down, you will see a couple of other pre-made backgrounds. Again, there are solid colors, and you have some simple gradients, some abstract backgrounds. You can expand each of the selections to see more. Most of them are really nice. I will go back to the magic background suggested by AI, and I think I will keep one of these because it also matches the color scheme of my presentation. It's hard to choose. I think this one. Now, if it wasn't for this beautiful suggested background, I would normally export the mockup with transparent background as a PNG, and then I would place it in my slide manually. So I will download like this, and I will also download it without any background just in case. Another thing is that it looks like this tool is constantly evolving. So make sure you check the What's New section right here, which is basically a timeline with all the new features that are being implemented. As you can see, you can now save tons of time creating mockups for your product. And not only your product, the mockups can also be used in a case study, or if you're doing benchmark, or just referring to a website and want to put it on the slide. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to create beautiful color palettes for your project with Khroma. Looks like we're ready to start designing. And the first tool that I want to share with you is called Khroma, and I absolutely love it. Khroma is an AI-based color combination generator that draws from your selection of colors and thousands of human-made color palettes across the internet. So first, let's go to Chroma.so and we click Get Started. So to train the algorithm, you will have to choose 50 colors that you like first. If you're doing this right now for fun or just to try this tool, then go ahead and just select the colors that you really like and you feel like they're aesthetically pleasing to you. But if you want to create a color palette for a presentation, for example, then I would advise you to keep in mind the topic of your presentation and select these 50 colors accordingly. So I'm going to be selecting colors for my presentation. And as I'm talking about sustainability and smart cities and stuff like that, my selection will be kind of inspired by the concepts of technology, green, ecological kind of concepts. And I'm selecting almost all the purples because I just really like them. I'm trying to avoid too dark of a colors. So the color swatches will appear infinitely. So you can be a bit more picky with your selection. I'm just trying to do this as quick as I can for this demo. I've got only 3 to go. I will add some orange to it, why not? And there we go. It says if you're satisfied with your selection, you're ready to train your generator. So let's click Start Training. And there we go. Now you can see it's also an infinite selection of color combinations. You can scroll forever and you can select between seeing these examples of background and text. Like this is my preferred view, but then you can also go to poster and see just double combinations of colors. You can see them as gradients as well, or apply to an image. And also as a color palette, which will give you a couple more colors and not just 2. So you can save your favorites. And after you will have them all here. Also on each of the options you can swap colors. And again, favorite, and in details you will have the codes and the RGB values. Let's scroll down a little bit more just to show you that there are lots of very interesting combinations, something that I would never do, but when I see it like this, I really like it and I might apply some of these to my presentation. Hopefully now you have a bunch of great color palettes to choose from, and we're finally ready to design our slides. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to save time in PowerPoint using Bright Slide add-in. This next tool I want to introduce you is not exactly AI, but it's super helpful for those of you who work in PowerPoint. I'm talking about Bright Slide, a PowerPoint add-in created by Bright Carbon Agency, which is totally free and super easy to use. To start using Bright Slide, go to brightcarbon.com/brightslide. The link would be in the materials of the lesson, and then click Download for Mac or switch to Windows. You will download the install file to your computer, and then you will just click on it and continue installing just like you would do with any other app. Just make sure you quit PowerPoint before doing that. Now, once you've installed it, you can go to PowerPoint and go to Tools, PowerPoint Add-ins. Here you can add a new one or just make sure Bright Slide is selected and then click OK. And then a new tab called Bright Slide will appear here on the top. The first time you will go to this tab, instead of seeing all these tools, there will be a welcome screen. You will need to register before you can start using it. The registration is quite simple and you don't even need a password. Just your name and your email. And after you confirm your email, you will be all set and the menu will switch to the actual tools. This is how it looks like. So this is my demo deck and I want to show you some of my favorite features. Let's start with a very simple one. We have our cover slide here. And let's say we want to add that beautiful picture that we generated with Midjourney before to the background. So I'm gonna drag and drop it here into my slide. And see that even though we upscaled it previously in IMGLarger and it has enough resolution, for some reason PowerPoint places it in a very small size. So normally I would resize and position it manually, fitting it to each one of the borders of my slide. But with Bright Slide, all I have to do is select it, go to Bright Slide, and then click Match Size. This will crop it exactly to the borders of the slide. I can now select it, right-click, and send it to back to bring up all the other elements on the slide. And now I can crop it and just resize the picture a little bit to improve composition. So even though you can move the image inside, the cropped area will stay exactly the same. This way you know that there will be no surprise lines when you play your slides in slideshow, which sometimes happens with picture backgrounds. And if you want to, depending on the typography that you're using or the colors and the tone of the picture, you might want to highlight your title a little bit. And for that, you can place a soft black background between the picture and the typography. Now, one of the most time-consuming tasks in presentation design is aligning and distributing elements properly within the slide. With Brightslide, you can do it in just a couple of clicks. Here's an example. Here we've got 8 different headshots of the team members, all with different formats, sizes, and proportions. And we have to arrange them into a nice grid. So my idea is to have these headshots in a horizontal rectangular shape like this one, because the slide is quite wide and the rectangles will fit better than squares or circles. I will also add the names of the team members below each headshot. So first of all, I will select all the pictures, making sure that the one that I like is the last one I select. In the Brightslide tab, I go to Match Size, and now they all have the same rectangular shape. I now need to adjust the size, so I will make the first headshot smaller. And I will also add little rounded corners to the picture just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I go to Crop, Crop to Shape, Rounded Rectangle, and then adjust the corners. Now make sure the original image is selected. Go to Brightslide, Multi-Painter. Make sure that in the drop-down menu you've got Paint Size and Paint Format and Adjustment. These are all activated. And then click Multi-Painter. There will be a green check, and then just start applying it to each of this picture. This also gives you an opportunity to readjust the composition for those pictures that are vertical. And now they all have the same format and the same size. Now we're going to distribute them properly. So we're going to select all of them. And we're going to go to this icon here that says Distribute to Grid. Click on it. And we're going to distribute it in 2 rows, 4 columns. And then you can adjust the spacing. So for example, to fit the screen properly, it's going to be something like this. And the vertical space is perfect because I'm going to add the names below the headshots. Now I'm going to move it all a little bit down. And that's it. And then I'm just going to add names and the team slide is ready. Now, one of the typical client changes for this slide would be to change the order of the team members. Let's say I need to swap Olivia and Isabella. To do this manually requires a lot of precision and realigning the objects, but with Brightslide, all I have to do is group the photo and the name, making sure it's all the same group, and then select both elements that needs to be swapped, go to Brightslide, swap objects. Just like that. You can see that it's perfectly aligned within the rest of the headshots, and it took us 1 second to do that. Now let's go back to the multi-painter feature once again. Comparing to PowerPoint's native format feature that only copy-pastes the format such as shape, fill and color, font and font size, this one has much more useful capabilities. For instance, here in the drop-down, you can select which aspects do you want it to grab. There is size, position, format adjustments, and even animations. So for now, let's activate all of them but position and animations because we don't have any animation here. And so I'm going to select this element, go to multi-painter, make sure it's in green mode, and then I will click on all of these elements and they will look exactly the same. And now on the next slide, you will see that I'm using the same element from here on the top right corner of the slide to show the section that we're in. And so on the next couple of slides, I have the same element, but it's formatted differently. So this time I'm going to go to the original one, select it, go to multi-painter drop-down menu, and this time I'm going to activate position as well. So multi-painter, Also make sure that the sticky mode is activated. So with the sticky mode, you can apply the format on different slides, not just the one that you're working on. So sticky mode, multi-painter. We're going to the next slide. Click here and boom, same format and same position as well. So this way, you're making sure that the element is always in the same position and the same format. This is very useful for fixed design elements such as footnotes, eyebrows, and titles. And another important thing about multi-painter is that when you use it on images, it will never distort them, but it will crop them instead. Next feature is remove margins. There is a thing about PowerPoint that I always hated, and it is that every time you create a text block, it assigns random margins to it. And sometimes the margins are all over the place, and it makes it really difficult to align the elements properly. Like in this example, we have 3 different text blocks with different formats, and even though they are aligned to the left, it looks like they're not aligned at all. People from Brightslide know that, and they created a magical button that removes the margins from all the text boxes. So make sure you're selected your text blocks, go to Brightslide, text margins, and you can remove them from selection, from what you've got selected right now, or you can remove it from all slides and even from all masters. So I'm going to remove them from selection, and now it looks like it's perfectly aligned. Now I want to show you how to create guides. If you've taken one of my other Domestika courses, you'll know that I often use guides to help me design slides. Any common presentation software has the option of adding guides manually, but it's very time-consuming and requires some math skills that I don't have to do this properly. So I kind of invented this method of creating a grid system using shapes and then hiding them in the master slide. But there is an easier way to do this with Brightslide. So just go to Guides, Create Guides, and I'm going to add them to normal view. And here you can adjust and create your own guides. I normally use a 9-column grid for a widescreen format, 16:9, and I will set the margins to 0.8 on each side. I also set the gutter to 0.5. Gutter is the space between the columns. You also have a live preview, so once you're happy with your guides, just click OK, and you will have them now on every slide. A good thing about it is that it's only visible in the workspace, so when you present in slideshow, they will disappear automatically, and that's great. And another good thing is that if you want to temporarily get rid of them, you can just delete guides, and then for the next time, it will remember the settings that you've used. Another painful thing about PowerPoint is setting line and character spacings for text. The quick options from the drop-down menu are unusable. The first one is way too tight, and the second one is already too loose. And then we still have 3 more options that are completely unusable. So that every time you want to set the line height to an acceptable value, you have to go to custom spacing, and then you have to start guessing the value because there is no live preview. Now, if you go to Brightslide, typography, live paragraph spacing, you will be able to control and adjust the line spacing with the live preview. And not just line spacing, but also the before and after values, which will define the space you have after each paragraph. So if I separate this in 2 paragraphs and go here again, I can adjust the space to be bigger or smaller. And this is the line spacing. With the same feature, you can live adjust character spacing as well. So typography character spacing, like that. Although I recommend you not to do it unless you're trying to achieve a very specific look for your typography and you know exactly what you're doing. Another feature that makes me really happy is text split. So imagine we copy-pasted or someone copy-pasted these bullet points into the slide. And what we want to do is a nice grid of 6 blocks of text with icons. Normally, we would have to copy-paste each of these points one by one and then arrange them into a grid. But with Brightside, we can do this in a couple clicks. So make sure the block is selected, go to Bright Slide, split text, and you can do it by paragraph or by sentence. I'm choosing by sentence, and there we have 6 equal boxes of text. I'm going to now get rid of the bullet points and make the boxes slightly smaller. And now, as you may have guessed, we go to Bright Slide again and click Distribute to Grid. Now here we make all the necessary adjustments. You can, of course, manually adjust your blocks as well if they have different length, or maybe some of them are 2 lines or some of them are shorter than the others. And there we go. All we need to do now is add the icons and done. Now, in the same way that you split the text into different blocks, you can merge them back again. So to do that, select all the boxes that you want to merge, go to Bright Slide, merge text, and you will have a single box of text, and you can now apply format to it, get rid of the spaces, and maybe even add bullet points back again. Just like you can split text, you can also split shapes and pictures and graphics. For example, in this slide, we have a big number, 85%, and we want to add a graphic visualization to it. I created this big square that occupies the space that I want to give to my visualization. And now I'm going to select it, go to Bright Slide, and then click Repeat and Distribute. So for this particular visualization, I created 10 columns and 10 rows. I also had to make sure that it's square, so it's 70 per 70. For that, I needed to adjust the gutters a little bit. And then after everything looks good, and everything is aligned, I'm going to click OK. And now what it basically does is that it takes the original shape and creates a perfect grid of little copies of it. So in other words, you can edit each of this square individually, meaning you can change its colors, you can delete them, of course. In my case, I want to play with the opacity. So I will select 15%. And I will make it a bit more transparent so that it shows the 85% of the squares. And just like this, you can do the same with icons and even charts. Another very common way of representing data in presentations is obviously with charts and graphs. And if you create them often, you'll know that editing and matching the style can be very time-consuming as well. Let's see what Bright Slide has to offer. In this example, the graph on the left, I spent a while editing it to make it look nice. I put the right fonts, edited the colors, the transparency of the grid lines, got rid of some unnecessary elements to make it look cleaner. And now I want to apply this same style to this graph on the right, which is all over the place. All I need to do is, just like before, highlight the correct one, go to Bright Slide, Multi-Painter, make sure that the position is not activated, click, and then apply to the right one. It's gonna do its process. And here it says exactly what I was about to warn you, that the only thing to have in mind is that the chart type will apply as well. So this was a bar chart and it converted to a column chart. So as long as it makes sense, feel free to do this. I'm gonna say OK, and now it looks perfect. You can do this also with tables and save yourself some valuable time. And the last feature I'm gonna cover in this lesson is outline text. Ideally, this should always be your last step if you're using custom typography in your presentation. As you know, even in presentation mode, PowerPoint relies only on the fonts that are installed on your computer. So if you're planning to present from another device and you're not sure whether the fonts you're using are going to be installed there, this option would be essential. Across this entire presentation, I'm using 2 custom fonts. And I want to make sure that this text right here looks exactly like this when I present. So I highlight my text box, I go to Bright Slide, Legacy Tools. If you don't see Legacy Tools in your menu, go to Settings, this happens sometimes, go to Ribbon Setup, and then make sure that Legacy Tools is activated. Now back to Legacy Tools. Here we can select Text to Outline, and you're going to be given 3 options. So if there is a slight possibility that I will need to change something in this text last minute, which often happens, I'm going to say Keep and Move Off Slide. And what it does, it converts my text into a shape, so it's no longer affected by system fonts, and I can now edit it as a shape. So I can change its color, but I can no longer make text changes. If I do, I will find the original text box right above my slide. This was done automatically by Outline the Text. So now, if I do a change, let's just say join, I will have to then select both of them, go to Bright Slide, swap objects. This might need some adjustment. And then we go through this procedure again. So we go to Legacy Tool, Text to Outline, and we do the same. This demo contains a selection of my favorite Bright Slide features. However, there is much more to try and discover. In the materials to this lesson, you will find a link to the full description of functionalities, and I invite you all to take a closer look and try out all it has to offer. Especially if you use animations, there are lots of tools that will make your process easier. In the next lesson, I'll share a great tool that'll make your presentations more engaging and fun with real-time interactions. Now we have all the ingredients for a successful presentation. But we can also add a little extra to it that will allow you to engage your audience even more during your presentation. I'm talking about another add-in called Slido that allows you to run real-time polls, quizzes, and Q&A sessions during online meetings, hybrid events, and also webinars and conferences. It's very easy to set up and run. So to begin, go to Slido.com. You can start with a basic account, which is free and includes up to 100 participants. There are also more advanced and professional plans. Then just quickly sign up, and after signing up and confirming your email, you will be taken to this dashboard. Here on the bottom, you can see the demonstration of all the different features. You can browse all of them and just learn how they work and get some inspiration. To create a new event, click Create Slido. First, set the dates, then give it a name, and then click Create. This will take you to the admin section. In the admin mode, you will be able to manage the event's features. So if you go to Settings here or here, you can adjust the date, the name. The event code that was created automatically is just this number code, but you can switch it and create a custom one. And here in this settings, you can also customize the colors. I will select the green. Make sure that this is activated, join event via QR code. You can also set the number of displayed questions in the Q&A and more things here. So once you've done setting up the event, click Save. And now let's create a first poll. I'll make one with multiple choices and ask, what city do you live in? And then we can add as many options here as we want. And we also have poll settings. This would allow people to select multiple options. The result can be shown as pie chart. You can show the descriptions and so on. So let's save this one. And now with these play buttons, we can activate our polls and they will appear to the participants. If you want to check how it looks like for them, go to participant mode. And here you see the moment that I pressed play, this poll has appeared on their phone. The Q&A session is here as well during the whole presentation, so they can submit their questions both anonymously and adding their name. So let's close this. You can keep creating different kinds of polls, but first I'm going to show you how to integrate this into our presentation. You can present directly from here, clicking present, or selecting one of the integrations from the drop-down menu. I'll say, for example, Google Slides, click Add to Google Slides, and this will take you to the whole process of installing and adding Slido to your Google Slides. I've already done that. So I created this presentation based on the PowerPoint that we did. I just exported it in Google Slides. And now what we have to do is go to Extensions, Slido for Google Slides, and we're going to click Open the sidebar. If this is the first time that you're using it, you will probably need to sign in here as well. Just make sure you're using the same credentials that you used for Slido. And then already you can see the session that we just created. Now we can continue creating and editing polls and do basically everything directly here in the sidebar. We don't need to go back to the website anymore. Only some of the functions will open in the new tab. So the first thing we need to do is to invite our participants to collaborate. We can do this at the very beginning of our presentation if we're planning to interact with them often during the presentation, or if you prefer to leave it for the end, you can add the invitation after your last slide. So if we go to our last slide, here in the sidebar, select Joining Instructions. It will add a new slide that looks like this for us in the editing mode. But if we click Present with Slido, it will look like this for our participants. So you can see that the style, the green background that we selected previously, is applied here. And now people can start scanning the code with their phones and they can start participating in our polls. So let's say, for example, now we want them to select the city that they live in. We can go to Create New Interaction and we can select one of the existing polls, which in our case is the only one. So when we click on it, again, it adds another new slide. This is how we see it in the editing mode. And if we click Present, this is how it looks like for them. And this is what is showing on your slide while you're presenting. So while people are voting, you can see the results on the slide in live, which is really great. Now let's close this and go back to our Google Slides. One of my favorite polls is word cloud, and you can make it much more interesting, inviting your participants to vote with emojis. So for example, let's create a new interaction, select word cloud, and we want to ask them what can't be missing in your ideal future city. Answer with emojis only. Add to presentation. And now, while the slide is up, it's so much fun for you and your audience to see how the cloud is forming, and it's also a great way to create conversation. Our very last slide could be the Q&A, where people can submit questions and also vote the existing ones, so that if you're running out of time and are unable to answer all of them, you can see what questions are the most relevant ones and make sure you answer them first. As an admin, you can highlight the questions you're answering and it will move them to the top of the list. And after you're done, mark it as answered and it will move it out of the list. After the event, all the data from the polls and the Q&As will be gathered in the analytics section. You can share and export it from there, creating a report. This is something quite useful for team meetings and hybrid events, as you can share the insights with the team once the meeting is over. In the next lesson, I'll share some tips on how to rehearse effectively and share another tool that'll help you with it. Your presentation is ready, but that doesn't mean you're prepared to present yet. Even if you're presenting to a small audience, rehearsals are a very important part of the preparation process. I was recently delivering a talk at a presentation conference in Bulgaria, and not only did I discover how important it was for me personally to rehearse my talk, but I also met some of the greatest public speaking experts and got a chance to learn from them. One of them is Cliff Kennedy, a communication success coach and public speaking consultant with more than 35 years of experience. He talks a lot about rehearsals. He even says that he recommends to his clients that they spend 50% of time working on the content of their presentation and designing slides, and 50% of time rehearsing, which is a lot because usually people spend maximum 2-5% on rehearsals, if they do, because many people don't. The truth is, if you rehearse in front of a mirror or in front of a friend, there is a chance you'll see that something is missing in your presentation. Maybe something isn't quite working or the order is not right. So this also gives you an opportunity to change and adjust your presentation. Rehearsing is not just going over your slides and reading or putting speaker notes in PowerPoint. You need to actually get into a role, like an actor. So do it in front of a mirror or record yourself, or you can use yet another AI tool for that as well. I see many people online recommending PowerPoint Speaker Coach, which is its native functionality. However, I must say that after trying it a few times, I wasn't convinced with the results. It seems to be giving you a great evaluation even if you do it badly on purpose. So I tried a couple of other rehearsing tools and I found one that I think does a great job, which is Udly. Just go to app.udly.ai and sign up. You can download the app that will allow you to connect Udly to your video calls and track your performance there, which is very interesting. But if you just want to rehearse a presentation, you can do it directly from the website. Just click Practice, Speech, connect your camera and your microphone, set the duration, and start rehearsing. After you're finished, the tool will provide you with super valuable insights about your pace, the using of filler or weak words, repetitions, and so on. It also analyzes your body language, detects pauses, smiles, and eye contact with the camera, which in case of an online presentation, it's basically the eyes of your audience. Allowing pauses and keeping the right pace can be very challenging. When you're presenting, your perception of time changes. For some people, time slows down, for others, it goes faster. For me, when I get nervous, I talk way faster than I should, because I'm afraid that people would get bored. But it's exactly the opposite. When you talk too fast, you don't get your audience a chance to digest what you're saying. You're becoming noise. I know it might be scary at first, but I promise if you pause for a second or two, nothing bad will happen. Another technique that I learned from Cliff Kennedy and I find very efficient is to rehearse your slides out of order. Usually when people start to rehearse, they open a presentation, start from the intro, and try to make it to the end. What happens is that you learn your presentation as one piece, and if something happens and you stumble in the middle of it, it will be difficult for your brain to pick up the train of thought. So the technique is to memorize your presentation in blocks, where each block of the narrative is related to a slide, and you can deliver them separately. For example, starting from the last slide, deliver that slide and go to a previous one. Deliver that one and go to a previous one. Or start in the middle and move forward. The idea is to become comfortable delivering each slide individually. This way, it will be almost impossible to get lost in your presentation. And last but not least, remember, any presentation you give to any audience, try to make it into a conversation. Whether you're on stage or online, you're not talking to a crowd of hundreds of people. You're talking to each of them separately, because each person who is listening to you is having an individual experience. We now reached the end of the course. Hopefully now you have enough resources to create your next presentation. Keep in mind that the world of AI is evolving very fast, and the tools that I've demonstrated in this course will likely change and evolve as well. So keep your ears open and stay updated with these tools and those that are yet to come. As a final project to this course, I invite you to create a presentation using as many AI tools as you want, depending on your needs. The presentation itself can be created in any presentation software you like. such as Keynote, PowerPoint, or any other. The idea is to practice and learn which of these tools are helpful to you in particular, and then integrate them into your process. Not only for presentations, but for any other creative project as well. I wish you best of luck, and I hope you enjoyed the course.